Everyone, let's try to solve today's LeetCode daily challenge question, which is 785. Is graph bipartite or not? So as per this question, we have given a graph and we just need to identify is the graph is bipartite or not. So at the end we need to return a boolean value. If the graph is bipartite, then we need to return true, else we need to return false. So before jumping into question, let's first try to understand what is a bipartite graph. So what is a bipartite graph? A graph whose vertices can be divided into two disjoint and independent sets, let's suppose U and V, such that every edge connects a vertex in U to a vertex in V. Okay, so as per the definition, as you can see in the diagram as well, if we are able to create two disjoint and independent sets such that every edge connects a vertex in U connects to a vertex in V. So if we are able to make this relationship so that finally we can say the graph is bipartite, else we cannot say, else we have to return false. Okay, so let's try to understand this particular question with the example. So how we can get the intuition we in the graph is bipartite or not, which particular intuition we can use in this particular question. So we'll use the coloring method. Okay, so if the whole graph can be divided into two disjoint sets using only two colors, so that means that particular graph is a bipartite. Okay, so let's say we are taking red and green color. Okay, so if I take this particular 0th node, so I filled this particular vertex with red color. Now as the adjacent vertex needs to be placed in the second disjoint set, so I have to fill the adjacent vertex with a different color. So in this particular example, the adjacent vertex of 0th node is 1 and 3. So I will fill 1 and 3rd vertex with a different color. Okay, now the first and third vertex adjacent is 2. So can I fill 2 with the red color, because that is the only remaining color. But is 0 is connected with 2? In this example 0th vertex is not connected with 2, so it is not adjacent of 0th node, so we can fill it with the red color. So as you can see, this particular example, this particular graph, we are able to divide it into two disjoint and independent sets where 0 and 2 can be part of one set and 1 and 3 can be part of one set, where 0 is connecting with 1 and 3 and 2 is connecting with 1 and 3. So yes, this particular example will return true because we are able to disjoint the sets using two colors only. So it is a bipartite graph. I am focusing only on two colors because we need to return based on bipartite. Bipartite, bi refers to two only, as like binary, as well as same as bipartite. So you need to use only two colors in this case. So let's try to see one more example. The same thing we will do. So 0 I am filling with red color, all the adjacent of 0 will be of different color. Okay, so 1 and 3 are adjacent to 0 as well as 2, so I had to fill it with a different color. But now as we can see, all the adjacent are of 0th vertex are of different colors. But what about this? Like 1 and 3 are disjoint. Okay, now what about this? The third and first vertex adjacent is 2 as well. It should be filled with a different color, but here I am seeing it is filled with already green color. Can I fill it with red color? So let's try to see. I filled it with red color, but is it right? No, because 0th vertex also is adjacent to 2. Adjacent nodes cannot share the same color. So in this case, we cannot divide all the vertex into two different disjoints which such follow the above discussed property. So in this case, this particular example, we need to return false. I hope this particular intuition is clear to you, and using the same intuition or approach we'll build an algorithm and try to solve this particular question. So now we are able to see, first we are reaching to the source node. Let's say this is the 0th node only. We are saying our source node is the 0th vertex. What is the second step in our algorithm? Try to reach to the adjacent nodes. So how we can reach to adjacent nodes in a graph? Using BFS. Okay. After reaching adjacent nodes, we need to fill with either different color. So let's say for we are going to use two color. So let's suppose the colors are 1 and 2. The source node is color filled with color 1. So adjacent nodes will be filled with color 2. So this is the 0th node, this is the first node, and this is the third node. Okay. So in this way, with using the BFS traversal, we can reach the adjacent nodes and fill the color with different to the parent color to the adjacent color. Okay. So the neighbor is filling with different color. Now if the neighbor is already containing a color, so in this example, as we can see, the 2 is already filled with green color. So when we are trying to reach neighbors of third vertex, we seen 2 is the adjacent nodes is already filled with the same color. So at that point only we will return false. So I hope this particular algorithm is pretty much clear to you. If you are able to write a code on this particular intuition, you can stop the video now and try to write your code. As well as I will give you a code walkthrough how I implemented this particular intuition. So this is a code walkthrough. Okay, so the signature method is bipartite and a graph is given to us. So graph is a 2D graph, 2D array given to us. So as part of this question, the whole input 2D array is a adjacency list. So as part of this question, we do not have to create a adjacency list. So we can use this particular graph. So I created a visited array. Okay, this visited array I created to fill colors. And as we discussed, we will use two different colors, 1 and 2. Okay, so for every vertex I am performing the BFS traversal, and if the BFS is returning false, I will return false. Either at the end I will return a true. So what is happening inside BFS? If the vertex is already visited, I am returning true. Else I created a queue. In queue I am adding node and I initialize a color. Color initially is 1 for the source node. Okay, so visited of node. So let's say suppose the example of 0, 1. Okay, so at the source node I filled it with 1. So visited of node is equal to color, which I initialize as 1. Okay, so I started the BFS traversal, and I computed the next color for my adjacent nodes. So if the source node color is 1, so for 1 and third, the neighbor nodes, the color will be 2. So this condition is computing the next color for my adjacent nodes. So after traversing the adjacent nodes, if visited of neighbor is equal to visited of temp, what does it means? Visited of neighbor, the color of neighbor, this color and this color, okay, is equal to visited of temp. Temp is source node. So if the temp color is equal to the color of neighbors at that particular point, we are returning false. So as we discussed in above example, in this particular case where this is already also filled with 2, so when I'm traversing, performing the BFS traversal on 3, so this is already filled with 2 and this is also filled with 2, so at that point we will return false. So we are computing that particular thing in this point, and after completing the BFS traversal I am returning true. So that's it from this question. If this particular video helped you to solve this particular question, you can like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.